Get in there, fucking yes. Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0, away from home at Stamford Bridge. We beat Fat Frank for the third time this season. Solskjaer gets 3 over Fat Frank, which is great for Manchester United. It really is, because it moves us closer to Champions League places. It keeps us in the mixer, which is great. And I mean, 3 times we've beaten this season. I mean, Jesus Christ. We've won away at Stamford Bridge twice this season. We won there last season as well in the FA Cup. And we couldn't win there for fucking anything under Fergie for the last decade or so. We struggled like mad. I think we won like twice in about 13 years under Fergie there. And we've somehow managed to do it 3 times in 2 seasons and beat them at home as well this season. Really, really pleased with that. Our form against the bigger name teams has been decent this season. It really has. I'm not getting carried away at all, because we're probably going to have a shit game against Club Brugge and then a shit game against Watford. But we had to win this game. It was a must-win game if we want to stand any chance of getting a Champions League spot for this next coming season. We had to win it, because Spurs got that late win at the weekend against Villa, which a real kick in the bollocks for Manchester United, because we really needed that game to end a draw. And with Wolves dropping points, it meant that Manchester United could close the gap on them, get 2 points over them, and Manchester United are there or thereabouts at this moment in time now. We're so inconsistent though. This is the problem. But so are the other teams. This is the problem. I mean, where's it going to go? I just don't know with this Champions League football. But very, very good. Some positives to take from Manchester United from this game for me. Another clean sheet for Manchester United. Eric Bailly back from injury and playing this evening, because Lindelof apparently unwell and didn't do bad at all for his first game back. I'll give him that. Was decent. I mean, he hasn't played football for a long time for Manchester United in the first team, so credit there. I mean, we've played with Brandon Williams. Obviously, it's more like a back five, bit of a back five like we did against Liverpool. Brandon Williams there, and sort of more of a defensive lineup really, rather than what we would be playing probably if we'd played them at home. But still, we've got the job done. Decisions have gone our way, but some should have gone our way. Maybe some shouldn't. I mean, the 2 VAR decisions, I think that they were right. I mean, that is what VAR's brought in for. So you can't say that Chelsea were unlucky, because VAR is brought in to make them decisions, and that's what they've come to the conclusion for. But the one that should have been a red card in my opinion. Should definitely have got Harry Maguire walloping him in the nuts, kicking him in the nuts, and really got to be sent off for that. So he shouldn't have been allowed to then get the second goal to put the game to bed. But 1-0 would have done Manchester United anyway. But would we have won it with 10 men? Who knows? We really don't know. But I don't give a fuck, because Manchester United have won the game 2-0. I didn't think we were going to get the job done this evening. I was worried. But when I saw the team sheet, there was no Abraham in the starting lineup, and Callum Hudson-Odoi wasn't playing. I mean, he's been up and down in form. He was really poor at one point when he come back from injury, but then he did improve a bit. But he's still a player that could cause Manchester United problems. And without them too, I mean, their team isn't a lot better than Manchester United, to put it that way. And with 2 or 3 injuries, they're in the same problem as Manchester United. And we've got big name players still out injured. And imagine if we had them players back, could we really push on in the second half of the season? Now, two of our best players in Pogba and Rashford out injured. I mean, if we could get them 2 back, and McTominay as well, Manchester United could potentially look a lot better. I mean, the level of the team will increase. And we brought Bruno Fernandes in, got himself an assist this evening, could have got himself a goal. And the levels are improving when you get players back from injury now. With adding that addition, we've obviously seen Agallo come off the bench late on. He could be maybe a useful squad player for Manchester United. I haven't touched on the signing of Agallo. I wasn't pleased really that Manchester United got him in. To be honest, I thought it was a strange one, but it is only on loan, so maybe he could chip in with 2 or 3 goals, crucial goals here or there, or maybe play some games like in the Europa League if Manchester United are comfortable in the first leg. Maybe the second leg we've got Derby in the FA Cup, so utilise him when we need to, because Solskjaer did hint in the reasons in bringing him in was obviously that Martial needs to have a rest. My only downfall for Manchester United is that I don't know what more Greenwood's really got to do to get in this team. And Dan James hasn't really been doing an awful lot the last month or 6 weeks of Manchester United season, and that is a bit of a worry that he continues to pick James. And then the first name to come off the substitutes bench is Andreas Pereira, and he seems to pick him constantly, Andreas Pereira as well, and that is worrying me because Andreas Pereira is a very limited player for me. He's been very, very poor for Manchester United and isn't the standard that Manchester United need on that pitch when we haven't got our main men as well. I mean, and I think it's going to cost Manchester United if he continues to keep playing. It has cost Manchester United many times this season when he's picked Pereira over Greenwood, and it just baffles you. A guy who's got 10 goals this season and a guy who's got like 1 goal and just isn't performing well at all. It just baffles me. But I can understand a little bit in the second half why he brought Pereira on, maybe with the thinking of that Club Brugge game. We're 2-0 up. Maybe he's thinking that he's going to start Agallo and Greenwood in that game. Who knows? We will have to wait and see. He probably will have to make changes. Maybe Delot, who come on late in the game as well in the injury time, maybe he will start that game against Club Brugge. But they're not going to be no mugs. I mean, that is away from home. So, but that is only on Thursday. So we haven't got a lot of time. Then we've got a quick turnaround before Watford. So we've got to get our act together. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we will have Scott McTominay back. I don't know if he'll be available for that Club Brugge game, which will give us a bit more strength in depth, so that we can rotate the team a bit from game to game, because we've got Watford again on the Sunday, and I think we've got Club Brugge again on the Thursday. So it is quick turnaround for games, and we can't afford to get any more injuries coming up. Hopefully, I would gather by when the international break comes up in mid-March that Rashford and Pogba, I would expect Pogba definitely would be back, and that would be a massive boost for Manchester United. However you see Pogba's future at Manchester United, getting him back on that pitch, his level's above Fred and Matic on the pitch. I'm sorry, but he just is. So that will be a positive. But we've won this game without our full team out there. Chelsea haven't had their full team out there, obviously, either, with massive miss, obviously, Abraham, because Batshuayi is just nowhere near on that level. But Chelsea have really got the same problem as us, because you look at Abraham, Pulisic, and obviously Hudson-Odoi being out injured. That is massive for Chelsea. I mean, they haven't really got the players to bring in. You're bringing in Batshuayi or an aging Olivier Giroud off the substitutes bench when you haven't got them. I mean, you're starting Pedro, who's past his best. Williams probably past his best as well. So you haven't really. I mean, that front three was, for me, was dreadful for Chelsea when I saw the starting lineup. And when I saw that starting lineup, I was more confident. And that does give me a bit of confidence going into the remainder of the season, that if we can get our players back, if Chelsea are a bit thin on the ground, then maybe Chelsea will drop more points. They've got Spurs next weekend, so if both of them teams could drop points, we're going to be there or thereabouts. And if 5th position will get you a Champions League spot, we don't know yet, then there's still a very good chance we could still nick one of them spots, and it would be fantastic. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.